There's been a few more trades and signings that have transpired since our last video, so you know the drill. Let's go over each of these rather small but still underrated moves and talk about how they're going to help their teams this upcoming season. The Phoenix Suns signed fan favorite Bol to a one-year deal. Many fans had mixed reactions. Some think it was a great move, while others not so much. They think he won't be much of a factor on Phoenix's championship quest. Last season, Bol averaged 9 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist per game, while shooting 54% from the field, 26% from 3, and 76% from the free throw line. The soon-to-be 24-year-old is still pretty raw, and he's somewhat unique. He provides versatility on both ends of the court and adds much-needed depth to the center spot. Although, due to his frame and style of play, he isn't much of a true center. So overall, Phoenix's big man situation is pretty interesting, to say the least. They've got DeAndre Ayton, of course, who's a borderline all-star when he's engaged. Then they have Drew Eubanks as their backup center. Eubanks averaged 6 points and 5 rebounds for the Portland Trailblazers last season. He's not a flashy player, nor can he stretch the floor or provide excellent defense, but he can rebound the basketball. The Suns rank 12th in rebounds per game, and adding him will further help out in this category. As for Bol, I'm not sure what his role will be, because with KD, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal running the entire offense, he won't get many opportunities to consistently have the ball in his hands. And if you've watched his game, you know that he isn't your traditional screen-setting big. He's a more out-hybrid wing center, if that makes sense. But the problem is, he can't make a three to save his life, nor does he have excellent playmaking skills. So where exactly does that leave him? Well, the good news is he's playing alongside 3 veteran elite scorers, who he will most likely learn a lot from, especially Kevin Durant. And again, the kid is only 23 years old. Who's to say he doesn't develop a dependable three-pointer and start shooting a respectable 35 to 36% this season? He does give the Suns roster some more flexibility within their lineups. They could play KD at the 3, Bol at the 4, and Ayton at the 5. This will primarily be beneficial defensively. The length between those 3 alone could be a problem for a lot of defenses, but with DeAndre Ayton not really being that great of a defender, it kind of ruins that whole scenario. Sorry, Phoenix fans, the truth is what it is. Still, Bol is a better defender than everyone thinks. I could probably make a strong case that Ayton is still a couple of levels above him on this end of the court, because he's just too thin to defend bigs in the post, and he isn't quick or mobile enough to be effective out on the perimeter. His defensive IQ and awareness have been a concern too. These are things that can be fixed, and I've seen players turn these types of things around in the past to become valuable, effective defenders. And so while I'm not the biggest fan of this move, surrounding Bol with 3 of the game's best scoring veterans could be very beneficial for his development moving forward. This next signing kind of flew under the radar, and I like this one a lot more than the Bol one. The Sacramento Kings signed Nerlens Noel to a 1-year contract. That's probably a name you haven't heard in a while. He only played a handful of games last season for the Detroit Pistons and averaged 3 points, 2 rebounds, and 0.6 blocks per game. And in the season before that, he only played 25 games for the Knicks. But in 2020, he had his best season with the Knicks, averaging 5 points, 6 rebounds, and 2.2 blocks in just 24 minutes. Yep, you heard that correctly. Just a few seasons ago, he averaged 2.2 blocks in 24 minutes, which is insane. To just put that in perspective, Brook Lopez averaged 2.5 blocks in 30 minutes, and Anthony Davis averaged 2 blocks in 34 minutes. So although that was a few years ago, it's clear that Noel can still swat away shots at a high level. That is precisely why I love this signing, because the Kings were an awful paint defense and ranked 26th in points allowed in the paint. I know you all remember the recent round 1 matchup versus the Warriors when Draymond Green turned into prime LeBron James and scored 20 points on 8 for 10 shooting in Game 5. Most of those points came from layups due to the Kings being unable to protect the paint. When you look back at everything, you realize that that series could have ended differently if Sacramento had another impactful defender, primarily a talented shot blocker like Noel. Unfortunately, though, he has trouble staying healthy, and his lack of versatility on offense doesn't help either. But with Rashawn Holmes and Chimezie Metu both on new teams, that's going to open up solid rotational minutes for him on opening night to show whether he's that guy, but only time will tell. Next up, we're heading to Detroit, because they recently signed sharpshooter Joe Harris. The Pistons are trying to shed out of that rebuilding stage. They've now got a solid backcourt who's capable of putting up 20 points per game, a rookie who has a high ceiling on both ends of the floor, and two versatile centers in Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart, who are looking extremely promising. Then you've got players coming off the bench like Monte Morris, James Wiseman, and Marvin Bagley. And with Monty Williams as their new head coach, they're going to surprise a lot of people this season. One of the many things the Pistons didn't excel at was shooting the three. And as we all know, Joe Harris is one of the best shooters in the NBA. He shot 42% on 4.5 attempts last season. With Cade, Jaden, and Monty Morris being good playmakers, he will get plenty of open shots on the perimeter. Now, was this a game-changing signing? No, but he will, without a doubt, help his team moving forward. Cedi Osman was moved to the San Antonio Spurs in a 3-team deal. This was a solid move. Unfortunately, he is 28 years old, so he doesn't really fit the team's time frame. And with the Spurs needing to offload a few players, he'll most likely be traded for some picks or cash considerations. I'm only mentioning him because I would love to see him play alongside that young, talented group. Now let's get to other moves, such as contract extensions and re-signings. The first key re-signing was the Washington Wizards bringing back Kyle Kuzma on a 4-year, $102 million deal. Kuzma put up borderline all-star numbers last season, averaging 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists, while shooting 44% from the field and 33% from 3. The Wizards are rising, with a core of Jordan Poole, Deni Avdija, Daniel Gafford, and Bilal Coulibaly. The 28-year-old has established himself as one of the most versatile offensive weapons in the NBA. He can score and get to the rim, he rebounds, and he facilitates, and he does a fine job defensively. He's also got good size and mobility. The duo of Jordan Poole and Kuzma could be something special, in the same way De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk were in the playoffs. It seems like a stretch, but Poole has De'Aaron Fox's potential. Kuzma is, without a doubt, a better all-around player than Malik Monk. And my point is, they just seem like they're going to fit well together, playstyle-wise and as far as their personalities go. Let me know how many games you think Washington's going to win this upcoming season. I'm putting it around 39-41. Then next up, down south, Dejounte Murray signed a 4-year, $120 million extension to return to the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks are in a weird spot. While they are a good team, I don't think anyone has them making out of the first round with their current roster. They just aren't a good defensive or shooting team. The biggest problem is their lackluster defense, which doesn't make sense because they have Dejounte Murray, Clint Capella, DeAndre Hunter, and Onyeka Okongwu. But when you really think about it, they don't really make up for players like Trae Young, Sadiq Bey, AJ Griffin, Jalen Johnson, and Bogdan Bogdanovic. And it certainly doesn't help that they now have Patty Mills and rookie Kobe Buffkin. So yeah, if I were a Hawks fan, I would expect the same outcome as last year, unfortunately, getting bounced out of the first round. And that's if they even make it that far. And now to wrap things up, Torrey Craig has signed with the Chicago Bulls on a 2-year deal. I know, like, 98% of you couldn't care less about this move, but I like this one for the bigger picture. Craig is a terrific defender, and with the Bulls already having 3 top-level scorers like Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic, they must beef up their defense as much as possible, especially when you have scorers like Giannis, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Donovan Mitchell, Trae Young, Jimmy Butler, and the reigning MVP, Joel Embiid, all in the same conference. And that's what the Bulls are going for, because they also just signed Javon Carter, one of the best defensive guards in the NBA. With players like Alex Caruso, Patrick Williams, Torrey Craig, and Javon Carter leading their defense, they could be a team to be reckoned with this upcoming season. But what do you think? Which team made the best offseason move so far? Feel free to leave your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.